Shana Tova. It's a new year, and I have an age-old request. But first, I'd like to draw your attention to the Ner Tamid above the Ark, which illuminates our Torah scrolls 365 days a year. Thankfully, this community has ensured that our Ner Tamid stays lit by its generous contributions. The world has its share of dark places. We've struggled for more than 2 years with a pernicious pandemic, and there's no shortage of tragic news. The Ner Tamid faithfully reminds us that even in dark times, there is light. Today, we have the potential to nurture this light once again. Still coming out from under the dark fog of COVID, we are finding new ways to be in relationship. As our clergy so appropriately remind us, it is through community, kindness, love, and joy that we find our purpose. We know that anti-Semitic activity and hate crimes are at an all-time high. How remarkable that we have this beautiful sanctuary where the Ner Tamid shines perpetually, where we can come together and be in community, regardless of the darkness outside. And even when we cannot be together in person, we find ways to come together virtually. Our spiritual flames require energy that will not come from words and visions alone. The High Holiday Appeal has always been needed as a line item to balance our budget. Along with our dues, which covers 51% of our annual expenses, and our endowment interest income and our other revenue sources, we rely on the High Holiday Appeal to provide needed resources. We need to pay bills, and we need to pay salaries. We need to maintain our dynamic religious school and maintain our building and provide security and take care of our kitchen crew. Your donations enable us to keep this community together by providing daily services, Shabbat and holiday services, youth education, adult education, B'nai Mitzvot, weddings, funerals, shivas, and we need resources to bring the programming that we are so thirsty for. One thing I learned from the pandemic is how important community is. Before the pandemic, I may have taken our community for granted. It's like you really don't know what you've got until it's gone. I take great pleasure today in saying that our community isn't gone. It's alive and thriving in many ways. We're blessed with a clergy trio that is reinvigorating us. Our rabbis and cantor educator are reaching out to congregants, building personal relationships because they care, sometimes by wishing us a happy birthday or a happy anniversary, or to share in the memory of a loved one on his or her yahrzeit. Community, kindness, love, and joy. Our clergy cannot do it alone, and they certainly cannot do it without our support. We're all of us partners in this temple business. In case you missed some of what's been going on in our community, I'd like to share some of our recent activity. During their first year with us, our rabbis have built meaningful relationships and fed our souls with relevant devars. The religious school has reopened on Shabbat, strong and vibrant, with more than 100 kids, and we are just bursting with renewed energy. We recently resumed our pre-COVID Torah service on Shabbat, so congregants are once again called to the Bima by their Hebrew names and are actively participating in the Torah service. We are back to congregating as a community after services and joining for Kiddush lunch. And we continue to live stream services with up-to-date technology for those who are choosing to not be in person. Our newly renovated Leifman Chapel is another place of community gathering, where we are now joined by congregants from Beth Jacob every Sunday morning for Minyan. Our hugely successful fundraiser this year gave us the opportunity to glimpse behind the scenes the first ever live Chutzpah podcast of Joshua Molina and Rabbi Stutman. Our Summerfest family picnic was attended by nearly 250 congregants of all ages, included live music, bingo, food trucks, inflatables, and absolutely perfect weather. Our gardening club continues to work tirelessly to enhance the grounds surrounding our stunning building. Our sisterhood continues to support our community, both financially and with troops at events. Our Social Justice Committee continues to connect us with the larger community to help repair our world, and they have once again organized our High Holiday Food Drive. And the leadership of our officer team, executive committee, and board of directors during the pandemic and beyond demonstrates true grit and governance. And to think we owe all our success to you, I'd like to thank each and every one of you, the Temple of Aaron community, those of you who continue to pay your dues even during the pandemic and who are willing to step up again at this time of year to make an additional high holiday contribution. I'd especially like to thank those of you who have already sent in your contributions, and I'd like to thank our board of directors who have once again overwhelmingly contributed to our high holiday appeal. Today, we have the opportunity to fulfill one of our most sacred obligations, tzedakah. You can rest assured that by contributing to our high holiday appeal, every dollar will be as fiscally managed as it always has been, and it will help to sustain us and keep the Ner Tamid shining, not only in our generation, but for future generations as well. These days, we are experiencing the vitality of an influx of new and younger families, and we want to support them and nurture our kids and keep this fantastic momentum going well into the future. But we can't do it without your help. I'm asking you to please invest in us. We are the future. My dream for 5783 is that we can all continue to come together as individuals, as families, and as a community in this time of coming out of darkness to reconnect, to rekindle the light that is the good within our souls into a brightness that will spread far beyond us as individuals, far into the future, so that future generations will continue to experience their Judaism here at Temple of Aaron, and they will remember us with gratitude and all we did to keep the Ner Tamid flourishing. What better time than this week to make your contributions before the final shofar blast on Yom Kippur? Or better yet, there are envelopes in your pews if you'd like to take care of this today. Simply push down the tab of your contribution and insert your high holiday ticket or your business card. And don't worry about being admitted for future services. We will be mailing your tickets back to you. And if you don't receive your tickets in time, just speak to one of the board greeters who will welcome you with a little kindness, love, and joy. A few volunteers will now be coming around to collect these envelopes. Thank you, and Shana Tova Umetuka. May it be a remarkable year for all of us.